Welcome to the KUCR Artist Spotlight. My name is Fungus, and I'm here with Brenton Aragon from the band Moxiebeat and the label Ethospine Noise. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man.
Cool. So, for those unfamiliar, who are you and what's Moxiebeat?
Who am I? I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure that out every day of my life. But Moxiebeat is a hardcore punk band from Riverside, California, to say the least. Not to just box us in by those kind of categories, but, we're basically a really loud, melodic, noisy, rhythmic, chaotic band that people have said pretty frequently that have commented on how we are like the loudest band that they have ever seen, which could go one of two ways.
There's truth of that.
Yeah,
a lot of truth.
Yeah, we're super loud, and we're intentional about it. But I mean, that could be like totally awesome for you, or the most subversive thing that you could experience, where you're like just plugging your ears and running out the door. So it just depends on who you are and what you like and where you're coming from.
Nice. So, Moxiebeat just did a tour in Mexico. What was that like? How was it?
It was amazing. It was probably like one of my favorite tours that I've ever been on. Every tour that we try to do, we just try to top the last one, and that one was really special. Our really good friends in Wally set up the tour, and they organized it. We went on tour with them, this band from Guadalajara called Malestare, and this band called Tenete Tres. And it was a week-long venture of just insane Mexican punk rock experience. I don't know, man. It was amazing. We played. It was a week long, and we were only able to do a week due to work constraints. But I mean, that's about basically as much as you can do in Mexico for a punk band. There aren't that many places to play. It's not like the States where there's always something going on every night. Like, you know what I mean? There's not, your favorite band isn't coming through every weekend. So people aren't spoiled like the way we are. So in that sense, like, people were really excited about shows happening and a band from the States coming through. And I don't know, there was just like a lot of camaraderie, and people are really serious about their music scene. And, they don't take it for granted when things happen. Like, it's a really DIY thing where everyone is part of the event. It's not just the band. The attendees are just as important as everything else. And in that sense, it was amazing, man. We played this amazing fest in DF called Los Grises, and it was probably one of the most, if not the most, insane thing that I've ever been a part of. It was just, how should I say?
Totally punk.
It was just totally punk, man. There was so many people there. There was like 25 bands or something like that. One band was from, I want to say Switzerland, and we're from Riverside. So there's like two bands not from Mexico, and the rest of the bands were from Mexico, and it was just so punk and DIY. I mean, there's over 1,000 people there, and it was just completely kids in control. Like, there's no security guards or anything like that. There wasn't any fights. Everyone was just really getting along. There's like a lot of unity and camaraderie, and it was just a beautiful experience, man. It's not very often that I get to experience something like that. That would never happen in the States, I don't think, but that was so dope. If you ever get the chance to go be a part of Los Grises or attend it, I strongly suggest. I mean, it's one of the baddest fests around as far as punk rock. It's not even just punk rock. It encompasses all things from punk to hip hop. I mean, it's everything, man.
Tight. So, is Moxiebeat working on new material? What can we expect? I know you might get this a lot. What's some new stuff that's going on?
Moxiebeat, yeah, we're working on new material. We're always working on new material, man. But so we're just a slow-moving animal, and we always have been. Since our record had come out, well, it's not even our record. It was our EP that came out in 2013. People have been asking, when is your full length going to be out? And that question has just almost turned into a pet peeve for me, because I don't know, man. It'll be done when it's done, and when it's done, it'll be awesome. But hopefully 2016 will be the year. This year will be the year it comes out. But I say that every year, so who knows when it'll be out. Maybe 2017, maybe 2018, but it'll be worth the wait, people.
So you're also playing bass with Maron, playing a few shows with them.
Yeah. They approached me to fill in for on bass, and I gladly took that offer, man. Those dudes are just like, half their band are people in academia, and they just couldn't fit the schedule. So, I'm the hired gun, dude. I'm like the best case scenario outside of the people in their band.
So Ethos Spine just released or co-released Maron's new record. Is that right?
Very true, very true. We just helped put out their record. It was a split release between us, Ethos Spine, and Take It Back Records from Germany, and Ape Must Not Kill Ape from Germany as well.
Tight. And the cover art was done by artist Pavel Acevedo, who's
off the hook and one of the baddest artists in town right now.
Yeah.
Oaxacan Prince.
Totally. And Ethos Spine Noise label has been around for going on 14 years, and this past year it's been being pretty active, doing new stuff, putting out new releases, but some years has been slower than others. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, a couple years back, first off, Ethos Spine was brought together by my brother Fritz, and we released our own band, and then it got to the point where this was in 2002. There was like so much really awesome stuff going on in Riverside. It was like a really strong music scene, and music scenes always kind of come and go, especially if you live in a college town. They don't last forever, and like he was in this mode where like, yo, I gotta document what's going on, because there was truly some amazing stuff. And like we had a really special band called Piano Drag, which was the second release that we did, and that record is still one of my favorite records, like till this day. And we still keep up with those people, like Waystage, who is like one of our bands on our roster right now, is members of Piano Drag. So we're still keeping it alive. But our former band Dogs of Fire kind of like prematurely disbanded. And for a minute we weren't in a project where we were actively playing shows and networking with people. And things just kind of hit the brakes for a minute. It wasn't like anything went away. It was, just life just happened. Things got complicated, and we had, things kind of got detoured from what we needed to do in our own personal lives. Like Fritz kind of he had a business venture. He started his own art store in downtown Riverside called Urge Palette. His art career kind of just skyrocketed. He's been super busy doing album covers for like Sharon Jones, and has worked with Charles Bradley. He did the new Ed Hockley. I mean, basically did the last two Ed Hockleys, but this one's pretty big, where he's like AF Records put it out, and that's exciting. He's always doing like poster art for events and festivals, and I don't know, he's just been nonstop busy artist person. And I went from no jobs to too many jobs and school, and it's just like our priorities just kind of went in different directions. But it came back in full circle. Oh, I also wanted, at the same time when we kind of slowed things down, we also help establish this anarchist space called Blood Orange Info Shop that lasted in Riverside for like the last 5 or 6 years. Did we hit 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last 5 or 6 years. So that also occupied our time, and like it's not like just because we weren't doing anything musically, we were still getting busy doing other things. Like we were participating, but we just hit the brakes on actually putting out music, and even our own music. And so when we finally established ourselves with Moxiebeat, and we started getting full throttle, and as the ball was rolling, so we started playing shows. We were doing like little tours here and there, and next thing you know, we're back putting music out because we're networking with people, we're reconnecting with people, and it's like people are approaching us like, can you help us out with our release? And it was also a lot of being stoked and inspired by other people and our friends, like for example, like the Moron record. I was just like, yo, I want to be a part of what you guys do, whatever, I want to be part of your first release for sure. And because I've been following Ray's projects for a long time, since I was a kid. He was in Esperanza, he went into Mugre, and I've seen Mugre so many times. I in my other former band, I used to play shows with him all the time, and we became great friends. And after that, he went to Descarados, and now with Maron, and he's teamed back up with Mike Muesca, who is of academia fame, and also like has lineages to 90s Latino hardcore, and was part of like he did El Grito Records, and it was kind of a trip because their drummer is one of my downest homies, Julio Chavez, who I met in college in a math class that we both had. And it's just weird how things worked out later in life. We became colleagues. We became colleagues. We worked really closely together. He's my mentor, and he hooked up with Ray because they're basically the only two Latino hardcore dudes who live in the high desert, and they started this band Maron. And before I even knew what they were gonna sound like, I was like, yo, I want to be a part of what you guys do. I don't even care. I know it's gonna be good. Just let me be a part of it in some way possible. And here we are, dude. I helped put out the first Maron EP, which is awesome.
Hell yeah, dude. So what other bands are currently on the Ethos Spine roster?
Okay, so before we put the brakes, I think we stopped at release 17 or 18, and we put out our own project out, Moxiebeat, and then we put out the Way stage at Hockley Split. We put out the at Hockley LP. But let me just explain. So I'll just name all the bands who are on the roster and where they're from. So I got Wally from Tijuana, Mexico, Way Stage from Riverside and Fullerton, Ed Hockley from Pittsburgh, Malestare from Guadalajara, Jacusto from DF in Mexico, New Ruin from Riverside, and of course Maron. And the last two releases we actually did was the Moron EP and the Malestare tape EP, which I think we put that's how we closed out 2015. We did with the same release date with both bands, and we're just, what I can't even explain how stoked I am, but that's an awesome way to close out the year for us.
Tight. And you're also releasing some bands from the Philippines.
Yeah, well, they're straight up like Filipino hardcore bands that they live here in the States. They're all immigrant bands. Okay. One of them is Ininoco, which is from the Bay Area, all Filipino fronted hardcore band, sick. Hardcore punk band, which is off the hook sick. And another band from NYC, another immigrant group called Namatay Sa Ingay, that we're just really, really stoked for. There's a fest that has been happening because Rupert from Aninoco has a label called Aclasan Records, and they do a Aclasan Fest every year. And what it does is they promote like all Filipino punk and hardcore bands. Like even if you're a first gen here or you're half Filipino or what, like you're all included. Like he's trying to like bridge the gap from all these Filipinos from all around the world who are into punk and hardcore and or participate for representation. So so Moxiebeat fortunately got to play twice. And when I met Namatay Sa Ingay at 924 Gilman Street, we were in the parking lot, and then it was like Aninoco and them like talking about, they're gonna do this tour in 2016, and they were like talking about doing the 7-inch split, and me and my brother were like, yo, we should put this out, like, duh, yeah. And so got some bands from the Philippines, doing a lot of bands from South America and Mexico too, only because we've done a tour in South America, and this last tour from Mexico, dude. I mean, like, that's why we just did the Malestare. We went on tour with them, so they blew my mind. They're awesome. And I think this February we'll do the official release for the Jacques Cousteau tape. And I met them. They're all part of Los Grises Fest, and I know Suriel from a while back, dude. Like, I don't see him very frequently, but he's always been around. His band, Nazareno, dude. They're one of the most brutal bands I've ever seen from DF, and they're all part of Los Grises Fest, and they help make the tour possible for us. So that was like one of the things that I'm trying to chime into, to like, when we're as a band, like, now that we're going on tour and stuff and we're meeting people, it's like, yeah, we're gonna be putting more releases out because we're hanging out with our homies, and they, we want to be a part of what they do, or they need some help. And it's like, that's why the activity has gone back up for Ethos Spine, because we're back up in the mix. And we're also doing a band called Zeta from Nicaragua, and like, before I even heard these dudes, they were just hanging out at my pad for like a week, because they played at the info shop, and then they're just playing a bunch of local shows, and they had no shows. And I was like, yo, just kick it over here. And, we just built a great bond before I even saw them play live. And I was just like, I just love those guys. And I was like, yo, I'm going to help put out your record. And, they're just amazing. They're a mix of like so much stuff, like salsa, dub, indie, and hardcore, like a perfect like release for Ethos Spine, And who else is upcoming? I got 10,000 Leagues, 10K from LA/Bay Area. Sociedad Secreta del Vacío from, sorry if I butcherized that pronunciation, but from Tijuana, Mexico. That is like the Tijuana version of Battles, and they're just so sick. An amazing band. And Hendrix, which is the new formation of Wally, the new formation or / extension of Wally that I'm really excited for. They just recorded their EP, just recently. So I'm expecting their tape to be out sometime this spring. So that's gonna be cool.
Cool. So how do you choose the bands on your label? Why do you release the artists that you do?
I think like we just build a relationship first. I mean, obviously, first off, it started off as being like really like in the mindset of Discord Records, where we're like, we want to document what's happening in our town, right? So we were doing, for a while, we were just doing all local stuff. It was like Piano Drag. We did Jesus Makes a Shotgun Sound. We did Dorn and all the other bands that we were part of. We did Red Cell 1. We did Circuit Scarecrow. We were doing like, we were repping like the Inland Empire and Riverside. And then it just morphed into something else that we didn't even think about later. It was like, it's either something that we feel strongly about, that we're passionate about, that we want to share with other people, something that really turns us on, that is inspiring, but typically for a band that we would have to have like some kind of representation of one person of color, a female, or someone is queer or transgender. That would be the most ideal thing. Like one of those things fits the criteria for Ethos Spine for sure. And or to also includes like some kind of subversive politics that we are, that we can identify with, or that we would definitely want to support, that is strong enough for us to, to back up, you know what I mean? But for the most part, it's like just with the Moron record, I was like, yo, I really want to be a part of your record. I want, I want in any shape or way for me to be, a part of what you're doing. Please let it be. And thank God they let it happen that way. And on the other end of it, like vice versa, it's like, we've been asked to help other people, and it's just like, yeah, of course, I would be honored to help you out with your release. How could I do it? And like let's get all the fine details together and like figure out how we can do how and when this can be ready.
Cool. So with all the projects you've been doing, Moxiebeat, Ethospine Noise, would you call it a labor of love?
Yeah, definitely a labor of love, man. It's just like, It's just something we love to do. We've always been playing music for a long time. I mean, we definitely don't make any money off of doing this. So it's like, it's something that like we like to do just to support other people. And because like everything we've ever done, we've always gotten a lot of help from, and we just always want to return the favor. Mm-hmm. You know, it's mutual aid, straight up. And yeah, it's made labor love. It's not like we're making a bunch of money. We're not looking at charts and graphs at our office and thinking about, like, okay, we made this much revenue last year. What should we do? You know, what will our fiscal year look like this year? And like, how many releases should we do? It's never like that. It's definitely just like off the whim. Like, yeah, we're gonna do this. This is what's gonna be next, and it's something that we're definitely proud. A project that we'd definitely be proud of or excited to work with. So. Cool. Yeah, definitely labor of love. We've been doing it for a long time. It's crazy that I just thought of like it started in 2002. Now it's 2016. So that's crazy. Time flies.
Woo. All right. Any last words?
Any last words? Not anything that I can think off the top of my head. It's MLK Day. Celebrating like this. We ain't working. Doing an awesome interview up in here. And I don't know, man. Just check us out at ethospine.com or facebook.com/ethospine.
Cool. Well, with that said, this has been the KUCR Artist Spotlight. I'm Fungus here with Brenton Aragon from the band Moxiebeat and the label Ethospine Noise. Until next time, later.
Peace out.